popping in to tell you that some days it's going to be a struggle. Some days you're not going to want to. Some days you're going to talk yourself literally out of it as you're working out. Some days it'll be a battle. Some days it's going to be awesome and you're going to be like, I feel super good and I'm in my flow and I just feel like really proud of myself. But for those of you on the hard days where you're like literally questioning yourself and you're like, this is stupid, this sucks. Why am I wasting my time? That's where we are today. And I sat and watched part of my workout. Total transparency. Maybe I shouldn't be your coach. Lately I've been sharing things that don't feel very coachy, but this is also real freaking life and that's how we roll, right? Anyways, I sat there, hands on my lap, like I should just turn this off. But then I was like, no, you have committed this pocket of time. And while it doesn't need to be perfect, and I wasn't even going to hold myself to the standard of doing everything they were doing, of matching their movement, I was like, I would feel bad about myself if I walked away now. So I'm here, and I'm going to modify, and I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to surrender the rest. And I'm going to walk away from that workout knowing it wasn't my best. I don't feel particularly proud, but I can choose to be proud because I kept the promise to myself. I held the space. I did what I could. I checked the box. And let's be really honest, some days this journey is literally just about checking the box. You're not going to want to, you're not going to feel like it. You're going to have 1.5 million other things to do, but we get to choose where our energy goes, and where our energy and focus is, we create more energy. Okay, so what's good about how you showed up today? Even if it was a struggle, even if you didn't want to, even if you're in like a really low belief moment, there's something good, right? There's something good. My good is I showed up today and I did what I could and I surrendered the rest. My good is that I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to listen to someone else's words because my words fucking suck right now. That's my truth. My headspace words are not good. So, coach the coach. I'm a work in progress just like you. You don't ever get to this place in your journey where you're like, I'm just going to hit cruise control because like everything's going awesome. You might hit pockets, you might hit weeks where that is the case, but when you hit those hard spots, those sad spots, those just kind of, I don't really feel it, I have a case of the F-it spots, it's okay. Doesn't mean you need to quit. It doesn't even mean you need to change really anything up. It just means you need to take in someone else's words other than your own. And the easiest, fastest way to do that for me, podcast, audiobook, and to move my physical state. I'm going to get out of my house, out of my Charlie Brown cloud, and I'm going to walk outside and I'm going to enjoy the sunshine and notice the blades of grass and the leaves changing on the tree. And I'm going to collect those victories. I'm going to collect those wins. I'm also going to use Bach flower. If you follow me on Instagram, I talk a lot about holistic stuff. I freaking love homeopathy. I love Bach flower, which is flower essences. You know I love energy work. So there's a lot of cool tools that we have in our tool chest we can use to support ourselves. And if you're in a place of just feeling kind of overwhelmed, maybe you're like, I don't even know where to start, I would recommend you start with some Bach flower. And there's a lot of them. So if you're like, I don't even know what to do, you're going to go to Amazon and you're going to order Rescue Remedy. It has a yellow label. And I just think it's really valuable. It helps me so much. I'll put a couple drops straight in my mouth. I'll put a couple drops in my water bottle. I've even used it on my animals with massive success. I will just put some on my fingers and I'll rub it on their ears if they're stressed out or someone's having a urinary issue or whatever. I just think that we could all benefit from some Bach flower. So I've already put some in my water today. I actually put it in my Energize. I'm using one for hope, which is gorse. I'm using one for grief, which is Star of Bethlehem. And I'm using one to be optimistic. I can't remember what it is, and there's nothing wrong. It's probably just hormonal stuff, but this is real life. We go through these seasons. We go through these ebbs and flows, and I just want you to know you don't have to have a bunch of shame. You don't need to think that you're broken or something wrong with you. Like, this is just part of being human. Welcome to the club. It's not always going to be unicorns and rainbows. Shit's messy, and that's okay. So I'm going to use some Rescue Remedy. I'm going to put it straight in my mouth. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to change my physical state, and I'm going to listen to something that inspires me and changes, like pivots that chatter, because we can be so freaking mean to ourselves. I talked about this in my stories this morning about a couple things that help me when I'm in like a slump like this. And it's not like miraculous because I'm in a slump and I'm doing these things and they haven't quite made a pivot yet, but I also know myself, and I know that sometimes it's not just like, 5 minutes is going to change everything. It takes building the belief in ourselves. And sometimes we have to build the belief in keeping our word and honoring a promise. Maybe for you, it's your movement. Maybe you need to work on your self-talk. But a couple things that are helpful for me, and I think I might do them again today. Number one is to have a gratitude journal. You could use the notes in your phone. You could use a notebook. You don't have to have a separate special space for all these things that I'm going to tell you about. Not that there's a lot of things, okay? And I used to do like a whole page. Like I would kind of, especially if I was really in a like blah, sad energy place, I would force myself to fill an entire journal page with the things I'm grateful for. And before you're like, I don't even know how I could do that. Are you grateful for a flushing toilet? Are you grateful for toilet paper? Are you grateful for ice? Are you grateful for clean sheets? Are you grateful for that big ass laundry pile you haven't gotten to because it means you have a family to love and you have money to buy clothes? It's about reframing things, and sometimes we have to be a little intentional about it. So having a gratitude kind of brain dump, that can help. I've also done it on my walk. So if you're like, I just don't even want to like sit down with a notebook or something, that's okay. You can go for a walk and you can literally think between here, where I'm at currently, and that next stop sign, I'm just going to focus on all the things I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the way the air smells. I'm grateful for the crunch of the leaves. I'm grateful that the temperature is dropping. If you live on the planet of the sun down in Yuma, what are you grateful for? Okay, because where your attention goes, you're gonna find proof of more of that. The second thing is your book of wins, and we've been talking about this week. Like, what's a couple ways that you're winning? Like, even on a day that's hard, or you're in a low belief cycle, like you are winning because maybe you're listening to my words, or you're winning because you're on a walk, or you're winning because you did get the laundry put away, or you did take a shower, you did go to bed, you did prioritize self-care in some form or another. So what are your wins? How can you collect them? How can you throw yourself a freaking parade? Because sometimes we want someone else to do it. But the sad news is most people are busy with their own lives and they're not going to throw us a parade. We get to be the ones to do that. The third thing is an app. It's called the Think Up app. There's a free option. I found it really valuable. So I actually paid for the yearly subscription. I think it was like $98, but it allows me to create different playlists and I can record my own voice. So basically I'm creating my own meditations and I have a ton of playlists. I have some that are like my dream life, like what that looks like and feels like. I have some for days when I feel like a crappy mom, just to remind myself that I'm not. I have a couple that, are faith-based affirmations. Like I just have a whole bunch of them and you can tag them so you can scroll and you can find what you need in the moment. So it's not just like a grab bag. Sometimes a grab bag works, but if you know you're in kind of a low, like you're feeling kind of discouraged, maybe you need a specific discouragement, shifting thing. So again, the app is called Think Up and you can record a couple different playlists, I think, for free. So you could try it and see what you think. It layers music over it. Sometimes I'll listen to it when I walk. Sometimes I'll listen to it in the morning first thing or while I'm making the kids' lunches. And I found it to be really helpful, especially to hear my own voice saying these things because often our own voice is saying things that maybe aren't the nicest. So that's been super helpful for me. And it also keeps track of how many hours, minutes you've been doing it. And I think that's like total. I've been using this app for probably about 2 years. I used to listen to it a lot on my mail route. So I have a lot of minutes that I've spent listening to it. I think it's valuable. That's why I'm sharing it. So wherever you're at, whatever is going on, I hope that you're collecting your wins. I hope you're having a much better day, that you rocked your workout. But if perhaps you were in kind of a struggle or things are just not panning out the way you thought they were going to in your mind, I want to remind you there's nothing wrong with you. You're not behind. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just human. And it's messy. It's messy. And it can be challenging to be human. It can also be epic and awesome. You can't appreciate how high the high is if you don't have those moments of low and struggle and just real. So I see you and I'm proud of you. No matter what your journey has looked like, I'm proud of you. And I want you just to hear my words in your head to just do the next right thing today.